Well, you may have noticed the caption and the thumbnails for this video didn't say this was part of my Haven't Bought a Leica series. Well, it is. It is very much part of that. So my EP5 is dying. Those dials I mentioned in an earlier video are getting worse, becoming a bit of a pain to use actually. So I bought a new camera, but one that's actually older than the EP5, not newer, and not an Olympus. And the camera is a Fuji X Pro 1. So why did I buy this, apart from replacing the EP5 then? Well, first of all, I'm just trying out this brand, just dipping my toe in, seeing if the grass is greener on the other side. I've been shooting with Olympus for 10 years now, so maybe it's worth checking out the competition. And then, as you probably know, Olympus is now OM Digital Solutions. New owners with a new bright future. Well, we hope. But how safe is the future though? Will the company now survive? Who knows? I have no inside information, but what if? What if they do go down the pan? So again, I'm just checking out the competition, just in case. Thirdly, I love rangefinders. The Leicas are rangefinders. My Olympus 35RC is a rangefinder, and this X Pro 1 is, well, sort of a rangefinder. But having that optical viewfinder is a nice thing, and therefore it's like a film camera in many ways. That's how I see this, how I want it to be like, and in many ways I think Fuji do too. Of course, it's old tech. This X Pro 1 dates from 2012. It has slow autofocus. It has a low-res EVF, worse than my Pen F actually. There's less megapixels, just 16. But all that is good, and all plus points in a way. It feels like a film camera in that respect. So I'm excited about this camera. I'm really looking forward to using it and can actually see the gap where it fits into my photography. Admittedly, I've created the gap, but it's still a gap. So I've had this camera about 2 weeks now, and I bought it with the 23mm f2 lens, and I've been practicing my photography with it and getting used to the camera. So here's some of the results. So as I say, I've had this camera a couple of weeks now and I've enjoyed the shooting experience. But I also have another Fuji camera, the Fuji X Pro 3. Now I'm telling you about this because, well, you'll see it in this video and I want to tell you how I got it. So I got in touch with Fuji. I've actually tried a few times over the years with getting in touch with different manufacturers to borrow some of their gear for videos, etc. And, well, all my requests usually fall on deaf ears. I mean, don't they know who I am? But I thought I would contact Fuji anyway and just ask, just to see. And well, guess what? They said yes. Now, of course, this impressed me. If everyone else has said no in the past and they said yes to this, then for this reason alone, the company is all right in my book. If their cameras are good enough, if I enjoy the new experience, well then that little bit of cooperation from them from the start goes a long way with me. A good start then. More than can be said for Olympus. This could be a very dangerous thing though. What if I fall in love with the new model with all its improvements? I might just start to loathe my X Pro 1. So this is by no means a review. I mean, this new camera is 2 to 3 years old already. You either already have one or you know about it anyway. No, this then is just a review from an Olympus owner's perspective, a long-term Olympus user. So I've been out testing this new X Pro 3, been out on a few shoots, and well, again, here's a few of the results. So there have been some improvements on this latest model. The EVF, the electronic viewfinder, is better, more high res than my Pen F now. The autofocus is better. There's been some changes to the buttons and new buttons added. It's now got a new 26 megapixel sensor. Some new film simulations have been added, including the much talked about classic neg, which is really rather nice. There's now more menu options and now it's weatherproof. Plus it has a built-in diopter, or a better placed diopter from the X Pro 2. And of course, there's that screen, or lack of it. Well, it's bold, it's brave, it's trying to be different, whether that's right or wrong. I do like it when camera manufacturers do that though. But then Leica does make the monochrome only version of its digital rangefinders, and then there's the M10D, which has no screen at all. That's really bold. Both trying to be film cameras in the digital age then. Bottom line is though, and this could apply to the Leica too, it's a digital camera, not a film camera. So maybe stop trying to be something you're not. I mean, if you want it to be film camera-like, why allow it to shoot video then? So it might seem a bit of a gimmick, but I'm going to give it a chance. I mean, I might even love it. What's that? You can just flip the screen round on most digital cameras and have the same experience. Well, yeah, but don't tell Fuji or Leica that. Oh, and the sub monitor on the back of the camera. Yeah, well, this one actually failed a few days into the hire. Whether that's common or just a rare thing that happened to mine, I don't know. I'm not necessarily a fan of the JPEG film sims, so I don't really miss not having this on the lone camera. But yeah, mine is dead. So here's some more images I've taken on location with the camera. So I'm just flirting. I shot with 35mm film for 10 years. I then used a Mamiya medium format film camera for 10 years. Then it was digital with a Canon 5D for 10 years. And now it's been with Olympus for 10 years. Maybe it's time for a change for the next 10 years. For now though, I'm on a date with another camera. I'm just flirting. We're just good friends. But of course, a divorce can be a very messy affair and no one wants that. Well, definitely not Olympus, though I'm sure eBay would welcome it. So I've got to pretend now that it's 2 weeks later, not the same day as that video. Maybe I should have changed my shirt. Never mind. So here's my conclusions after shooting with the X Pro 3 for a couple of weeks. Well, the EVF is meant to be better and more high res than my X Pro 1, but the exposure on this new model does seem to be worse than my Pen F. You can see and hear it stepping as the aperture changes, even in the high res boost mode. That's not quite so good. Now there is a dedicated back button focus button on my X Pro 1 on the shoulder, which, along with the Q button, was rather too easy to press by accident. I was hitting it all the time. Now you're less likely to press those by accident on the X Pro 3, but it also means that it's harder to find them by touch alone. And so the X Pro 3 has a dedicated back button focus, but it's perhaps now too far over to the left on the back, well, too far for my thumb. So my choice is either mapping the click dial on the back or have front button focus, just as I do on my Pen F. I didn't bother setting this up on the X Pro 3 though, as my X Pro 1 doesn't have this button, so I didn't want to confuse things. Well, apart from that sub monitor, this is still a digital camera, so there's more to adjust than a film camera. Changing the film sims needs access to the flip down LCD screen to display that on the sub monitor, and changing to square format, which I do a lot, also needs the screen too. So that can be a bit of a pain to flip down all the time. I'd prefer a normal LCD screen that perhaps flips up. Look Fuji, I see this as a prime lens use camera. I'm using it with primes, so I'm restricting myself with that over the use of zooms. I'm disciplined, therefore I'm probably disciplined enough not to keep chimping. I mean, the EVF has a half-second image preview anyway, and I can switch that on or off. Just give us a normal LCD screen and I promise I'll leave it switched off. I won't chimp. Again, come on Fuji, give us image stabilizing. It's 2022. My Olympus cameras had it in 2012 when my X Pro 1 came out. I think it's about time all digital cameras had this. And yes, Leicas too. Yes, you can work with higher ISOs than my Olympus cameras, but I want to use that magic 1/8 of a second in the city for creative blur. I need the IBIS for this. So it's not perfect, but of course, what camera is? Well, my Pen Fs almost are. But this was an enjoyable camera to use, if you like the style. It beats the Leicas as it does offer an EVF. That makes close-up shots easier to compose, and it makes it easier to use with grad filters too. So this one goes back then, and the X Pro 1 is mine, and I rather like it for what it is. I prefer to use it with the f2 lenses rather than the f1.4s, just a little bit too big for me. So maybe, just maybe, if OM Digital Solutions never release a Pen F Mark II, an X Pro 4 may be the new camera for me. Now before I go, here's a quick word from our sponsors. This video is sponsored by E6. E6 is my all-in-one photography subscription. It features e-guides, e-books and podcasts, as well as over 100 videos that are exclusive to the subscription. On top of that, you also get image reviews and discount off my online courses and on-location workshops. Without E6, I wouldn't be able to do these YouTube videos. I choose not to sell you website packages on this channel that you don't want. Instead, here's an amazing photography subscription that you might actually be interested in. Sign up now, and for a limited time only you get the premium bonus pack for half price. Or stay for a second year and get the pack for free. Go to e6subscription.co.uk and see what the fuss is about. Thanks for watching.